welcome into Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet. He's Barrett Brooks, as I alluded to. And I'm Taryn Hatcher. And Barrett, I know you are fired up to see the boys back out there here in South Philadelphia.
No question, it's time. Football is finally here. I've been waiting this whole year to get back to this point. This very point. Practice starts, guys are on the field. It's time to go out there and play some football.
Oh, and Barrett dusted off his fancy red bottoms for the occasion. I will make sure they get their moment in the limelight. All right, the Birds are coming off of a 5-game improvement and a playoff appearance last season, along with an offseason filled with some big-time additions by Howie Roseman. The fan base is expecting some big things, and perhaps so are the Eagles. Both Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman tried to temper those expectations, though.
This is Philly. Obviously, there's always going to be expectations, and at the end of the day, we got to start that with Cam.
I didn't feel like expectations weren't high last year, right? Whether somebody said they weren't or somebody said they weren't, they were high. Our standard was high, and I know the city's standard was high. As far as what I said to them, my message to them was very clear. When you're trying to climb a mountain, you don't look at the top of the mountain and say, you might initially, but you don't look at the top of the mountain every single day and like, I got to climb that. You look at the part of the mountain you got to climb that day, and you focus on that.
We're just full of analogies on this show today. And that brings us to our 3-point stance presented by your Mercedes. Your first stance, the Eagles messaging. It's on point. They're trying to climb that mountain, but it's a one day at a time kind of process.
No question. You know, you tell them, you don't just look at the mountain. You don't keep your eyes focused on the mountain. You know, during that time period you're looking at the mountain, you're missing everything that's happening around you. The hard work you're out there putting in to try to get to that point, to get to that mountain. You got to make sure you go out there and enjoy the process, meaning you going out there, you're working your butt off. If things get tough, look at everything you did to get to the point you are before you get to that mountain. It takes hard work. It takes you going out there and focusing, doing what you're supposed to do. Acknowledge that work. That's what people don't do enough. Acknowledge the hard work you had, so when you look back, you showed that you belong where you're at. You've done everything you needed to get to that point. And, you know, for these guys not to really look back at it and keep focused on that mountain, you can't do that. You got to make sure you enjoy the journey, enjoy the work, enjoy the process, enjoy what's getting you to this point. Because once you're halfway there, if you forgot everything you did to get there, how are you going to push forward when it really gets tough? It's going to get tough for you, but you have to acknowledge the work you've done to get to the point that where you're at now.
On a slightly lighter note here, how did you feel about that shirt from Nick Sirianni? I absolutely love that Jalen Hurts shirt.
You know, they might say that, you know, that the coach is just being, you know, his guy. That's exactly what you need to do. Show you love your guys. Show you do anything for your guys. I mean, you look at with A.J. Brown, he had a hat that said Hurts season. Those are all things you do to make sure, hey, this is my guy. I mean, we're going forward. Jalen Hurts is the guy, but when you look at it, I'm at a point in my life where I understand what this kid is going through because I've seen him not get the ability to go into a turn number one. Last year, he came into it and he was competing. He's a number one quarterback right now. So, I mean, I like that. I love it.
It can also feel a little bit like pandering, but still be very genuine at the same time. And
it's also genuine pander,
It's just a sick shirt. It's not like it's a bad shirt on top of everything else. All right, second stance. Jalen Hurts, speaking of the man, ready to take that next step, ready to be the QB that truthfully the Eagles need him to be if they want to meet some of the expectations that have already been set for them.
No question. You know, and you're going to get a lot of kickback. You're going to get a lot of people saying how practice went for these guys. But this is them going out there and establishing something. You're going to make mistakes, but you got to try new things. And when you're trying new things, you got to make sure you're going in the right direction and making sure that, you know, if it's something that they can, you know, do to help this team, then they got to do it. I love the fact that, you know, when you go out there, you might throw a back shoulder throw to somebody and you didn't think you could do it. Or an offensive lineman says, all right, well, we're going to run this protection, but, hey, we're going to, you know, adjust to it, Jalen. So you know, you have your starting center, an all-pro center turn around and tell Jalen Hurts. Kelsey tells him, hey, guy, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shift this mic over. We're going to go one space over, so this blitz over here. That's just one more thing that takes out the quarterback's hands that he doesn't have to worry about. When you have a center as gifted as Kelsey, and he says, all right, I'm going to switch the mic, which changed the whole protection. And I'm going to push it one man over because he sees the blitz over there. That's one hot read that Hurts doesn't have to worry about in the scheme of things. Now he can focus on pushing the ball down the field. All these things are done while they're in training camp. So they learn from each other. They learn how to work with each other. That whole cohesiveness you're looking for, that's exactly what you need.
And speaking of learning how to work with each other, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts officially partaking in their first official practice together. We know that they've worked together before, but they spoke today about getting to work in an official capacity.
Yeah, it's great to be back out here. It's great to be back out here. Like I said, we put so much work in the offseason as a group. So much work in. So when the time comes, it's like, let's go do what we do. I think, it's fun to be out here. First time really having a true everyone back, everything open. So we're just excited, but we're very hungry, very hungry.
I want to let everybody know it's Hurts season, and I'm excited for him, the growth, the step, he's working really hard, and I'm going to be right beside him every step of the way.
I mean, as you said, it's Hurts season, and it certainly doesn't hurt that now you get A.J. Brown, who not only he could throw the ball to, but also opens things up for Devontae Smith.
No question. It's going to open up Devontae. It's going to open up for Dallas Goedert in the middle of the field.
The run game?
I mean, it's going to open up the run. All those things will benefit from A.J. being on the field. And then the fact that you got Jalen Hurts having that cohesive connection with him is just going to make this team a lot harder to defend as they go forward.
Couple of best buds just working together.
Yeah.
All right, your final stance. Isaac Seumalo, he is not going to give up that right guard spot. He was up with the first team today, and you say he's going to dig in. It's his. It's not going to anybody else, Barrett?
No question. Even before he got hurt, he was already, a really, really good left guard. In fact, he was on the cusp of being a Pro Bowler going into this last season before he got hurt. The best thing about an offensive lineman, and you're a good offensive lineman, when you never hear your name. Because usually when you hear your name, it's that you're doing something wrong. You're jumping off sides. You're holding somebody. You're getting a penalty. That's when you hear an offensive lineman's name. Well, you never heard Seumalo. That means he's balling. And last year before he got hurt, and the years before that, he was one of the most sound left guards in the league. He was consistent in his blocking. You never heard him really about giving up sacks or anything. He was a good player. Sometimes being noticed is bad, but this time it was great for Seumalo because he was good. Now the transition for him to go over to the right side, it's going to be seamless. He's that good of an athlete. I don't see anybody else. Yeah, there are some players. Look at it. The players that they have. They got Sewell Petta, Jack Driscoll, Kaoli Owusika, a lot of good players there that are trying to fight for that position. But when you're that good, he doesn't have to worry about it. He's going to be the best guy there. It just shows how good Coach Stoutland is in being a preparer and getting those guys ready to go into game-type situations, because you can plug any one of those guys in, and it'll be a seamless transition. But I really think Seumalo is the best guy at that right guard position.